Here again with another Breaking Bad Season 3 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important if you are caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching Breaking Bad, or you're just not entirely sure, well then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description if that happens to be the case and you find out that you're not caught up. It would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you that are wondering, I've seen Breaking Bad so many times, I've lost count. It's at least 8 times. It could be as many as 10 times. I watch this show at least once a year. It's one of the best rewatchable shows that there is. So join me and the man, the myth, the legend, Crazy Coffee Man in the comment section to discuss this awesome and amazing show. With that in mind, this will be Breaking Bad, Season 3, Episode 12. The title of this episode is called Half Measures. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start off by catching up with Wendy of the Crossroads Motel. Haven't seen her since Season 2, I believe. Blowjob and mouthwash time. Repeat. Blowjob, 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 mouthwash, blowjob, a little bit of drugs. That's a day in the life of Wendy. And then we have Wendy smoking a little bit of crack, I think. Or maybe it's heroin. I don't know. I don't know all the drugs by heart. And wow, she's blowing lots of guys. Wendy is buying some product from a couple of guys that Jesse is very much paying attention to. Junior is driving Walt because he needs to learn how to drive because he can get his license soon. Skyler is looking up money laundering on Wikipedia while caring for Holly. She needs to be perfect at being the Danny. Walt doesn't want Skyler involved with the business whatsoever. Walt wants Skyler to maintain plausible deniability. Skyler says Walt would do this because he loves his family. That's why he would buy the car wash. Walt demands to be a part of this family, and that's how he'll sell the story. So instead of, he just says, hey, if I'm a part of this family and we get this car wash, at least I'm a part of the family now, and that's why people will believe this story. It's cooking time for Walt and Jesse. They don't spend a lot of time cooking in this season. Jesse wants to stop somewhere afterwards and grab a beer. Seriously, have a beer with me. Walt agrees reluctantly, and then at the beer, or when they go out to the wherever bar they're at, a restaurant maybe, Walt or Jesse shows Walt some blue meth and says, look at it and tell me it's ours. Jesse says he bought it from the 2 guys that killed Combo, or had Combo killed. He's dating the sister of the kid that shot Combo on orders from these 2 guys. Jesse says he needs ricin. He's got everything figured out. Wendy brings them hamburgers. That's how he'll do it. So she'll bring the hamburgers. The ricin takes a couple days to go, to kill somebody, and nobody will know anything. Walt says Tuco wanted to murder us. These guys don't, yet. Walt says murder is not a part of Jesse's 12-step program. Jesse tells Walt he's doing it with or without him. Hank, Jr., and Marie are playing a card game. I'm not sure what one it is. Myself, I love to play euchre. I used to play a lot of poker too, Texas Hold'em. But anyway, of course, I'm not familiar with what it was. I think they said it, but it's nothing I've ever heard of. Walt meets with Saul Goodman. He asked for the meeting because he thinks Jesse is going to do something really stupid. Jesse hasn't arrived for the meeting yet. Jesse suggests to Saul that, Walt suggests to Saul that Jesse should do some sort of jail time for like 30 days to kind of clear his head. And Saul says he will call his PI, of course, that being Mike Ehrmantraut. Jesse tells Wendy it's just like delivering hamburgers like you do every day. Wendy has a kid, and these guys use kids for what they're doing. Mike stops by Walter's place. He spoke to Goodman about the Pigman plan, but Mike's boss wouldn't like it. Mike asks Walt if he wants to risk everything on one junkie. And Mike tells Walt a story about a domestic dispute story where they get called to this place all the time. This guy beats up his girl and all that. So there's one time where Mike took this guy in, or I think he took him out to the desert, and he actually had a gun in the piece of shit's mouth, and he let him off. He said, "Don't you hurt this girl ever again." And then 2 weeks later, this evil man killed his girlfriend or wife. Moral of the story, he chose a half measure when he should have went the whole way. No more half measures, Walt, the title of this episode. The guys are nowhere to be found as Jesse and Wendy wait. Mike and Victor show up, and Mike tells Jesse, "I need you to come with me." Mike and Victor take Jesse to Gus's meeting place. Walt is also there with Gus and the two guys that Jesse's after, the two guys that essentially gave the orders for Tomas to kill Combo. And then Gus tells Jesse to sit down. Jesse is mad that Walt told Gus. Jesse is not happy, of course, and he's not happy because Gus uses kids in his business. He asks Walt if he has anything to say here, and Gus is like, "This will not happen again. We will work to get." I don't remember exactly what he said. I didn't write what Gus said for the most part down. But the guys leave the room, and that's when Gus kind of says something to Jesse. So Gus then brings the two guys back in and tells them, "No more children." And then Jesse agrees to keep the peace. And I spelled peace, P-E, or P-I-E-C-E, when it should be P-E-A-C-E, the type of peace that I'm talking about. Oh well, it is what it is. I knew what I wrote. And he tells Jesse to shake hands with the two guys. I don't know their names. I don't think they ever mention their names in the show. Maybe they do. So then Walt drives Jesse back, and he says his actions affect other people. Compromises have to be made. Jesse doesn't say a word to Walt. Gets in his car and drives away as Tomas rides by on his bike. Oh, I just spoiled something. I forgot something that hasn't happened yet. Marie gives Hank a sponge bath. Marie goes downstairs. Hank says, "Nothing will happen, Marie." And she wants to bet that Hank will get a boner. And Hank agrees to the bet that he has to leave the hospital if he gets a hard-on. So Hank ends up getting a hard-on and loses the bet and has to leave the hospital even though he doesn't want to. Andrea and Jesse are laying in bed, and then Andrea gets a call. Tomas was murdered. I jumped ahead a little bit. Oh God. Oh God. Andrea starts crying. They go to the crime scene. Jesse just can't believe it. Jesse just has a soft spot for kids, as he should and everybody else should. The next day, Walt is calling Jesse because he's 42 minutes late for a cook. Walt and Junior watch a little Jeopardy, even have a Walt Whitman question, Walt Whitman being the person that wrote the book that Gail Bedecker gave Walter White. Walt goes in the bathroom after checking with Skyler to make sure that was okay. That's just a dumb moment right there that Skyler should know that Walt's up to something. He calls Jesse, and of course it goes to voicemail again. And he leaves a message saying, "Look, I stand by my decision." Then Walt hears something on the news when he comes back out about Tomas's death. And then at dinner, Skyler tells Junior the idea of her and Walt starting a business together. And then we see that Jesse ends his sobriety, snorts some meth or coke or whatever it was, and he's in his car waiting for the two men. Jesse also has a gun. He sees their car. He gets out of the car and heads their way. They see him coming. They've got guns as well. They even look, we got guns. And the tension here is really mounting. And then Jesse pulls out his gun. And then out of nowhere, Walter White shows up and runs the two men over. Holy shit. One of the men is actually still moving. And then Walt shoots him in the head and tells Jesse to run, ending the episode. So good stuff here. Little slow in the beginning, but obviously picked up. Amazing episode. As far as the score of the episode, I'm going to give it a 9.2 out of 10. My male character of the episode is Jesse, although one could argue Walt, and even a little bit Mike. And then the female character of the episode, just because she gave Hank a hard on, and she's actually pretty smart this season. I'm going to give Marie the female character of the episode, even though Skyler's pretty good too. So, pretty good stuff. You've heard everything that I have to say. Now, of course, it's your turn. If you are a fan of Breaking Bad, or perhaps Better Call Saul, or El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, I hope you're fans of all three of those because they're all excellent, and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please consider Hulk smashing the like button. It does help out the channel. YouTube tells me I don't get enough likes, so I average about 5 to 6 per video. If I can get 8 to 10, that actually helps out the channel quite a bit, and it puts JDev TV out there a lot more. But if you don't, it is what it is. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Again, don't forget to sound off in the comment section about your thoughts on this episode of Breaking Bad. You can talk about anything Breaking Bad related, not just that episode, but the whole entire Breaking Bad series. Now let's hold off on Better Call Saul, because the man, the myth, the legend, Crazy Coffee Man has yet to see at least the final season of Better Call Saul, but I definitely want to discuss Breaking Bad, and I'll put my Better Call Saul series finale video review right here called Saul Gone. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel. You are watching the video anyway. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. No more half measures. JDev will return.